Hi, I'm Seamless, and this is the 12th 30K tutorial video, wherein I take sound design requests to celebrate the fact that I got over 30,000 subscribers. If you'd like to make a request, the link to the Facebook post is in the description where you will make the request. Make them anywhere else, I will ignore them. Anyway, this is a 7 Lions thing, which obviously means the super sauce, which is not my forte. This is about as close as I got, so here's what happened. Yeah, so this is a patcher setup with some MIDI ins and outs and stuff, which were not super duper necessary. Because originally what I wanted to do is I wanted to make one patcher that was all the layers, except that I realized halfway through, oh wait, the reason why this works is because it's actually chords and not single notes, and they fit. So I made some chords, which are a big part of what this why this sounds like the way it does. But let's go over the individual parts. So what I noticed about a lot of 7 Lions songs is that when they have their super chords drops, is that there's just like the hintest growl bass going on in the low mids. So I decided to work on that first. That's what I got. Now, I actually I let Harmor do a lot of the work for me in this one, and this is actually this is like the first sound I ever learned how to do with Harmor. What you do is you put on a high unison count, put on hertz, and then when you play a bass sound with the phase off, you get that. But if you go slightly below, you get that, which is like almost already growl bass. So that's where I decided to use for like my slight growl bass in this one, in this particular sound. So in the patcher, that's what's going on in the low end here, and I have some slight coloration going on. All the other two sounds I actually high passed out of the way so that the sub was only the one sub. These red arrows you're seeing are actually automation. I have the filter and volume automation going off of all the Harmors. I'm controlling the post volume. Now, put the post and pre you see actually sit at 50% to be the typical 100% volume. So what I did here is that in the automation clip that I ended up making for it, I set the maximum amount to be 50 so that it will never go above 0 dB post. Of course, it wouldn't anyway because I'm compressing it, but just at that stage, that's what I wanted. This mid-range one is similar. This is basically your regular super saw. Now, I utilize a particular thing that Harmor happens when you take the phase all the way up to the top. This basically turns it into a fuzzy wash. Like, see, like, if I play it, which it won't let me for some reason, because I'm not doing the MIDI. If I play that, and I play it without the wash, you see there's actually still some teeth to it. Even right up until 100%. Still some teeth. But suddenly, a wash. So that's what I did there. Add some panning, distorted it with bit jam just to see what it did. Add some reverb. Compressed the mids a little bit. I messed with the unison pitch slightly. And local EQ I just turned off the low ends. So it was mostly just the second harmonic high on up. And then I high passed it. Same story almost with the high. Now, as I said before, I had the low pass. I basically activated this and linked it to a knob that's being controlled by the automation clips. But with the last one and this one, I turned keyboard tracking on so that while the filter is filtering, the bass notes in the chords, the fundamental tones will always be noticeable, always be audible. Now that sort of resonancy kind of sound that we're hearing is actually more to do with the particular distortion type I decided to use, which is the sine crush here. And I decided to go with that because it gave you more, again, the wash kind of capabilities. And that's sort of what I wanted for this sound. I also detuned it a little bit. By a little bit, I mean up to 2 to basically make it a square type. and then I also square typed it. So it's double square typed, which means the detune was brought up so that the fundamental all the frequencies were at the square position, and then this turned off every odd harmonic. So it's super duper sparse. If I look at it, it's rather sparse. That's just for that one though, because it's actually a two-parter. So this one's actually set up way high, frequency 8, because originally, remember, I wanted to make this a one-note wonder, but that's not how these particular sounds work. So I did that. It's a regular saw, high unison, because it's the super saw, you know. Yeah, some prism, like making a super saw is not hard. Utilizing it properly kind of is, and layers, because again, layers. So the way that this works in Harmor is that when you activate a parameter, you see click activate, it creates a red dot next to it that corresponds to the parameter. You can see when I mouse over it, it actually says what the parameter is up top. And actually, I believe you're able to input parameter. Yeah, this is look at this list of parameters. Wee, all the parameters Harmor has. Oh, look, there's the one I'm using. So like if you didn't want to go and activate it, you could go through this humongous, huge, stupid list of parameters. That's totally something you can do. And then you go over the surface, and if you make a parameter, in this case knobs, they pop up over here. Then you're able to link them to the parameter you want to move around. This is basically your own custom macro controls. And then of course, if you want to automate these, you got to activate them, and they show up over here. And then I can make automation clips out of them, which I did. Now this business is that once I realized I couldn't make a one-note wonder, I realized I had to trigger these individually. I didn't want to remake them all into individual paths, individual patterns and stuff. So what you do is you go in here, you go to outputs, events, and you get all the MIDIs. And you see it gives you all the ports available. So I enabled MIDI port 1, 2, and 3, and I made MIDI outs. You go channels, add one, MIDI out, and then I made them into ports 1, 2, and 3. I also made them the channels 1, 2, and 3 because that's how I thought that worked, but that's not how that works. So the channels actually are totally meaningless at this point. Goal uses the parameters list. That's frightening. Scott, ImageLine from ImageLine is in the chat, and he just pointed out to me that Goal uses the parameters list. It's frightening. If you had like a tree view for it, I'd be more okay with that. I don't even know how you'd organize it, but if you could find a way, I would do with that. Like if you're just like, oh, here's all the filters, here's all the whatever else, like the modules. But I don't know, whatever. I'm a visual guy, but I'm not that visual. This one feels like it needs to be longer. I missed one. What did I miss? Oh, the bass. So, like the sharpness out of it is largely the result of the volume automation, because you do your filtering thing, but it kind of it colorates the sound. It colors the sound. So the volume automation is what makes it real. Like the whole thing is coming and going all at once, all the whole spectrum. So it makes it very nice. It's very handy. Yeah. So that's pretty much the sound. Supersaws are not my forte. I feel like I did a pretty good job. Let's talk about let's look at the chords for a second, just so we can look at the MIDI. The notes and singing of this come from the interaction of the main bass and the highs. So the main bass is just like. Ta-da. And then the high. So the harmony interplay of the higher notes is what creates the texture of the overall chord. And I am reinforcing the high with the low end kind of overlapping. And then the mids are kind of just reinforcing the root here. Oh, just in the mids, just the higher tones. Go finds parameters by taste. You can tell this from his filter names. Wow. I guess that works. That's, functional. Goals presets are kind of neat. Yeah. So anyway, this project will be available download in the description. If you want to make a request for the 30K tutorials, the Facebook link is in the description. Make the request there. Do not make them anywhere else, for I will not read them. Yeah. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. And as usual, have a nice day.